Good day, wonderful listeners and my enthusiastic students. I am Olawale Benshola, your commerce teacher. Welcome to this video lesson brought to you by Igota Virtual Learning, and it's promised to be exciting as usual. In this lesson, we'll be diving into foreign trade part 2. That means the conclusion part of the foreign trade part 1, which we started in the last lesson. So we are going to be focusing this time around on the barriers of foreign trade, tariffs, and the functions of various authorities and agents involved in the international trade. Let's proceed to our lesson objectives. Now, by this end of this lesson, you should be able to understand the concept of barriers that affect foreign trade. You'll be able to define tariffs, explain reasons for their implementation and why tariffs exist, and you should be able to describe the functions of ports and airport authorities, custom and excise authorities, shipping, clearing and forwarding agents, and also what are the Export Promotion Council, who are they and what are their functions. Proceeding, we're going to be starting with barriers to foreign trade. Now, what are the barriers to foreign trade and what are they? Let's start with the meaning. Now, barriers to foreign trade are restrictions or obstacles that governments impose to regulate or limit international trade. Well, there are various reasons why there are barriers to international trade. There's ideological differences. Now, foreign trade will be affected where there is difference in opinions and political ideologies and principles among nations of the world. Now, this will restrict free flow of goods among them. We have currency differences in currencies, also a barrier to international trade since it involves two or more currencies. Fluctuation in exchange rate or non-availability of foreign currency will affect the flow of goods. We have artificial barriers, the imposition of duties like tariff, which we are still going to talk about later on, and other strict regulations that affect foreign trade. Now, we also have distance between the two countries. We also have differences in languages, too much documentations, differences in legal system, cultural problem, and differences in weight and measures. As I've said earlier on, there are tariffs, there are non-tariffs barriers, there are quotas, there are embargoes, technical barriers. All this we will discuss as the lesson proceeds. So let me just give you one particular example now. Nigeria banning the importation of certain goods to protect local industries. Now, I guess you understand that particular aspect related with the part 1 in where we have discussed the foundation of foreign trade. Let's proceed. What are tariffs? Now, tariff is a tax imposed on imported goods and services. Now, it is a form of trade barrier that makes foreign products more expensive, encouraging consumers to buy local or domestic alternative. Moving on, it is a compulsory levy on imports by the government of a country. Now, tariffs are used for two different purposes: for revenue and for protection of the local economy. Let me give you an example. Now, if a foreign company wants to sell phones in Nigeria for 50,000 naira and there is a 20% tariff, the price will increase to 60,000 naira for consumers. Now, if you go to the Nigeria market now and say you want to buy iPhone, now you know how expensive it is. Why do you think it's very expensive? Because of the tax and levy that has been imposed on the importation of these foreign products into the Nigeria economy. Now, what are the reasons for tariff? Now, the reasons for tariffs are protect domestic industries, to generate revenue for the government, to safeguard national security, retaliate against unfair practices by other countries, prevention of dumping of cheap goods. Now, one of the reasons of imposition of tariff on trade is to prevent dumping of cheap and undesirable goods in the local markets. Now, this will prevent the sales of goods at ridiculous prices, which will be lower than the local price. Now, prevention of importation of harmful goods. Now, this will also prevent the entry of harmful goods If foreign trade is not controlled, dangerous and harmful goods that are harmful to people's health will be imported into a nation. It also helps to maintain high level of employment. Buying domestic goods increases output. That means it helps people to get jobs locally, but this means that more workers will be employed. Now, restricting imports by bringing on tariffs can also increase employment since consumers will be forced to buy locally produced goods. Can we talk about the various functions of authorities and agents? Yes. So let's take a moment and look at now what are we looking at here now? We have some government agents and government authorities that are in charge of import and export based on the borderline of a particular country, be it the sea or the land, airports or the seaport. So we are going to be starting with ports and airport authorities. So follow me along. Port authorities and airport authorities manage and maintain ports and airport facilities, ensure security and efficient movement of goods, collect fees for the use of facilities. Furthermore, do you know that the Nigeria Port Authorities perform the following duties too? Dredging of seas, provision of warehouse facilities, provision of office facilities, collection of revenue, provision of repair and maintenance of facilities, which I've explained before, provision of equipment and port facilities, construction and establishment of new seaports, insurance of license, control of pollution, and provision of other necessary facilities that are necessary. That is the work of both the port authorities and the airport authorities. Now, let us look at customs and excise duties. But before that, let us look at customs authority. What are customs authority? Custom authority is an agency charged with the responsibility of assessing and collecting revenue, that is money coming into the government pocket. Dues, that is dues from imports and exports. Yes, now it is a revenue collecting organ of the government. The Department of Custom and Excise is under the Ministry of Internal Affairs. What are the functions of custom authority? Prevention of smuggling, collection of data on import and export, collection of taxes, which is the main job, supplies of information to traders, implement of government policies on restriction of goods. That means if government should place a ban on a particular goods, it is their job as the government agent to make sure that the policy stands still, that no goods that are restricted enter the country. They are also in charge of checking illegal trafficking of the naira notes. Supervision of bonded warehouse, that's the warehouse where goods are kept that are being banned and are being seized by the government. They are also involved in the provision of quarantine services, generation of revenue. That is the work of custom and excise authority. Shipping, clearing and forwarding agents, handling of documents for imports and exports, arrange transportation of goods and assist with customs clearance. In foreign trade, shipping and forwarding agents also play crucial roles in facilitating the movement of goods across international borders. Now, we have different types of shipping agents and forwarding agents, but there are two main that we'll be focusing on. Let us talk about shipping agents. Now, shipping agents are responsible for handling the logistics of shipping goods for exporters and importers. They arrange for the transportation of goods by sea, air or land, ensuring that the shipment reaches its destination efficiently and cost effectively. Shipping agents may also manage documentation, custom clearance, and the loading and unloading of cargo. Talking about the forwarding agents, they are also known as freight forwarder. Now, a forwarding agent acts as an intermediary between the exporter and the various transportation services. They coordinate the entire shipping process, including booking, cargo space, consolidating shipments, arranging inland transportation, and preparing necessary documentation like bill of lading, etc. That we'll be talking about when we talk about documents used in foreign trade. Now, forwarding agents often provide advice on the best routes and methods to minimize costs and delay. Now that you have heard about the shipping and forwarding agents, both agents are essential. They are very important in making sure that trade is done, ensuring smooth international trade by handling logistics and documentation, transportation to ensure goods are moved from one country to another without no consequences seamlessly. Next on the list is the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Wow, this is a very big organization and they are also known as NEPC. What do they do? What are their jobs and what are their tasks and what is the major points of why they are set up? Now, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, which is an NEPC once again, was set up to assist exporters in the course of exporting goods and to set out procedures for export trade. Now, the council also assists in assessing the performance of Nigerian export commodities in foreign markets. Next, we are going to be looking at the functions of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. So the first functions which you have here is trade enhancement activities. What does that mean? Now, they help to review and look at export procedures and documentation to enhance clearance at the ports, export finances and incentives, organize training activities, preparation of export documents, trade information services. That means they help to establish and operate international trade information centers to provide prompt information services, creation of awareness. The council produces publicity materials to publicize the export potential of the country. By so doing, create awareness for them and the council's activities. So, for example, now let us look at the Nigerian Customs Services checking imported goods at Apapa's port. So, the work of NEPC, sorry to say, like they assist with the Nigerian Customs Service checking imported goods at the Apapa port to ensure proper documents or duties are paid and no contrabands enter the country. It is time for another WAEC practice questions. So for each questions, we are going to practice the answer. We are going to look into why one answer is right and why the others are wrong. Question number 1. What is the main purpose of imposing tariff on imported goods? This one is coming from WAEC 2018. Option A, to increase government revenue. Option B, to protect domestic industries. Option C, to improve domestic diplomatic relationships. And option D, to reduce consumer spending. Think about your answer. What is your option? The correct answer is option B, to protect domestic industries. Let me explain. Why tariffs do generate revenue, which is option A, their primary purpose is to make imported goods more expensive, thereby protecting local industries from foreign competition, while option C and option D are not primary reasons for imposing tariffs. Number 2, which of the following is not a function of the Nigerian Customs Service? This one is coming from year 2019. Option A, collection of import duties. Option B, prevention of smuggling. Option C, promotion of exports. Option D, enforcement of trade regulations. What is your answer? Consider your options carefully. The correct answer is option C, promotion of exports. Why? Let me explain. The Nigerian Customs Service is primarily responsible for regulating imports and collecting duties. Option A, which is preventing smuggling, and option B, enforcing trade regulation, and option D, which is export promotion, is typically handled by the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. Question number 3. What is our question? This one is coming from year 2020. Which of the following is an example of a non-tariff barrier to trade? Option A, import duty. Option B, sales tax. Option C, import quota. And option D, value added tax. Think about your answer. The correct answer is option C, import quota. Let me explain. An import quota is a non-tariff barrier that limits the quantity of a good that can be imported, while option A, option B, and option D are all forms of taxes with import duty being a tariff, not a non-tariff barrier. Let us move on to number 4 question, which says that the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, that is NEPC, is responsible for what? This one is coming from the year 2017. Option A, collecting import duties. Option B, managing seaports. Option C, promoting Nigerian exports. And option D, regulating foreign exchange. Take a moment to consider your choice. The correct answer is option C, that is promoting Nigerian exports. Let me explain. The NEPC's primary function is to encourage and facilitate the export of Nigerian goods and services. Option A, option B, and option D are all functions of other organizations like Customs, Port Authority, and the Central Bank, respectively. Question number 5. This one is coming from the year 2021. Which of the following is a reason for imposing tariffs? Option A, to reduce government revenue. Option B, to increase unemployment. Option C, to protect infant industry. And option D, to discourage exports. Think about the answer correctly. The correct answer is option C, to protect infant industries. Let me explain. Tariffs are often used to shield new or developing domestic industries from foreign competitions, while option A, option B are contrary to government objectives, while option D is not a reason for imposing tariffs at all. Number 6. The agency responsible for maintaining and managing airport facilities in Nigeria is dash. This one is coming from the year 2019. Option A, we have Nigerian Customs Services. Option B, we have Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, that is FAAN, FAAN. And option C, we have Nigerian Export Promotion Council. And option D, we have the Central Bank of Nigeria. What is your answer? Take a moment to decide on the correct choice. The correct answer for that question is option B, Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, which is also known as FAAN, FAAN. Let me explain. FAAN is responsible for managing and maintaining airport authorities in Nigeria, while the other options have different role in trade and finance. Question number 7. What is the primary function of shipping agents in international trade? This one is coming from the year 2018. Option A, we have collecting import duties. Option B, we have promoting exports. Option C, we have facilitating the transportation of goods. And the last option, which is option D, setting trade policy. Consider your response correctly, and the correct answer is option C, facilitating the transportation of goods. Let me explain. Shipping agents play a crucial role in arranging the logistics of moving goods internationally, while option A, option B, and option D are functions of other entities in international trade. Let us quickly do a roundup of what we have achieved today's lesson. We have gone through the understanding this concept, which is crucial for anyone interested in international businesses or policy making. For example, if you are planning to start an import or export business, you will need to work closely with shipping agents and understand tariff regulation. Keep practicing with past questions and stay updated on current trends of policies in the trade affairs. Your understanding of these concepts will be valuable in your future careers and in comprehending global news. Thank you for paying attention in today's lesson. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out through the number showing on your screen. Keep learning and stay curious about the world of commerce. My name is Remain Olawale Benishola, your commerce teacher. Take care and keep learning.